maybe you don't hear from them for a couple of days, so you're immediately fantasizing about them, picturing your next date, your next week, your next month with this partner, picturing or futuring very far in advance when you really have no basis or foundation of a relationship to even be planning the future in any way.
I'm not obsessing to the point where it is like ruining my daily life, but I'm definitely obsessing.
It feels euphoric. It's exciting. It's like, wow, like a reason to live.
Bitch, what I was trying to say is this situation got me so wet and so dry at the same time. Exactly.
What's up, bitches? Welcome back to another episode of So Wet, So Dry. I am one of your hosts, Autumn. Like this season, I've decided that I do want a girlfriend right now, and I work in entertainment.
And I'm your other host, Fiji, like the island, like the water. I changed my hair, so I'm a new me, and I work in social media and marketing.
If you guys are new here to So Wet, So Dry, what we do is we explore duality through deep diving topics about sex, relationships, personal identity, all where internet trends and reality collide. We do post polls for every single episode that we do, so make sure you guys are following us on Instagram at So Wet, So Dry. The O's are zeros to participate in that. And whatever you guys are doing right now, please stop and subscribe or follow. If you're listening on YouTube, comment below, give us a like. And also, if you're on YouTube, you can go to our Spotify and follow us and rate us there. It would help us so much, and it takes literally no time at all.
Yes, and today we are talking about limerence. Is limerence a problem? We're talking about sapphic limerence. We're talking about if love is supposed to hurt, the difference between limerence and a crush, all of that. But before we get into that, we're going to start the episode as we always do, talking about what we're so wet and so dry about in this very moment. So I will go first. So I'm so wet this week because I got a brand new tattoo. It's been a minute. It's been like a little over half a year since I got a tattoo. And this is a tramp stamp, guys. I've reached a whole new baddie fucking level.
No.
It looks cute as fuck. I got it done by my man's friend. So it was like for the low.
Bro.
But I want to take pictures. I want to post pictures. I haven't yet because it's still like healing. So, it's like peeling a little bit and it's just like not the
It's so
time.
hot, you guys. Like literally in the picture that you sent me that like your man took and like
Yes.
the angle, I was like, damn, like what did I do to be blessed right now? Like it looks so fucking good. I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for you. What am I so wet about? I have a video for us to watch that I'm so wet about.
Okay.
So please click the link. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's turning you on right now. Like that. I'm wearing your purple.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's quite. Actually,
it's backwards.
Oh, sorry. Is this you?
No, it's you.
No, my boobs aren't that big. They're pretty small.
Yeah, they are. They're nice.
Well,
Sorry.
I like them. I'm happy.
I like them too.
Okay. She is like really hot. I mean, she always gave gay. Like I'm having a hard time like I just don't listen to her music as much.
Bro, neither do I. And I'm 1000% like I don't listen to her music. I'm completely like hopping on the bandwagon. I'm not like her biggest fan still, but I do think she's like so talented. Like I deep dived her on YouTube,
Yes.
like interviews, like hearing her sing just like without anything. And I'm just like, wow. And like, I'm really in love. And like the topic limerence, like we're going to watch a TikTok later about how this can literally apply to celebrities. And I feel like that happens to me constantly. But this video, like
Her
lesbians
smile, like her
and
smirk,
queer
where
women
she's like,
are going insane, dude. There's so many articles about this fucking video and it's like so viral and lesbians are just like freaking out and like I'm a little bit late. Like this isn't even like it just happened. I mean it did like weeks ago, but I'm just so obsessed. And then the song Lunch when she's literally like
I heard the song on TikTok, but I didn't
Me too.
put it together that one, it was her, and I didn't really listen to the lyrics. Like I wasn't like thinking she was talking about
I
a
had
girl.
no idea.
And I'm like, oh, like it's literally like the soft version of Munch, but queer.
Dude, that I like, and again, I don't even like love the song. I'm like, oh my God, like it's so perfect. But just her being gay, like I'm done. I'm done.
I just can't keep up because I know she was dating what's his fucking name from The Neighborhood, who used to date Devin Lee Carlson. And I liked her, like I watched her YouTube channel, whatever. So like, and when I found out they were dating, I was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. And also she's really young. So and I'm like, young. When did that end and this start? Like I lost it.
Bro, because honestly, I remember something happening where like a publicist kind of like outed her or something, like, or she kind of implied something in an interview about liking women, and then the publicist took it and ran with it, and like she like got upset, and then everyone was like, she's not owning it, like whatever, blah blah blah. And so I don't know, but I looked it up. It's like apparently she came out in 2023 or something. But I'm just like a huge fan, and I've seen that YouTube video like 600 times just watching her.
No, she does look like really good, like with the low hat too, and her like looking.
Stop! Like it's too much. The eyes, bro.
I know. I want that face between my legs. I'm dead. As for So Dry, okay, so I've been watching the show Bear, which I love. Like it's such a good show. Like that. I'm not dry about the show. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay,
of course I haven't.
Has your roommate seen it?
Maybe.
She would like love it, I think. Like especially because she works in the service industry, but like it's all about the service industry, and it's particularly like chefs, like less about like servers. But watching it, like one, they did an incredible job with like displaying the energy and stress of what it is to work in the fucking food industry. So like wet about that because it's an artistic fucking masterpiece. But I'm just dry about like it's been a couple years since, you know, I served. I've been in that industry, and like I always have like a love-hate like miss for it, but like wouldn't want to go back, like similar to stripping. But I'm just like, that shit is so fucking hard on people's like bodies and mental health. Like it's a cult. Like working in the food service industry can be a cult. It is so hard on you, like the bad dreams that you have, like the high levels of stress, like the way that people talk to each other.
Sometimes safety is an issue.
Safety, like it's insane. So like love the show, artistic fucking masterpiece. But like if anyone listening is a fucking food service worker, like server, whatever, I just want to say shout out to you guys because those jobs are so fucking hard. Like
girl, I'm
so
like about to fucking have one. Like really like I literally want to cry. Anyways. So, yeah, for my dry this week, I had a bit of an allergic reaction. I'm pretty sure it was to some blueberry cheesecake that I had because that was the only thing I ate that day that I, like, haven't eaten before. Like, I eat the same things a lot, so I know it's not my usual shit. So, I've had a couple allergic reactions in my life, but nothing to this severity. Like, I feel like the moment it became really scary is when my throat started to close and it started swelling, and I was talking like this. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, like the voice thing. And my roommate was like, okay, like really try to talk normal, like please. And I
like she thought you were fucking around.
No, like she just thought like there's no way, like why are you talking like that? Like it all just happened so quickly. But I didn't like go, everyone's like, you didn't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But you just like take Benadryl. I could feel it like going down. If it started to get worse, but I will say like one of my biggest fears is definitely, like we all are scared of dying and all of the ways that you can die, but suffocating is definitely one of the, bitch, what? I just mean like.
Just got dark.
No one wants to suffocate, no. But I would rather like have another way than that if I could choose, you know?
Yeah.
Drowning
dying
also like.
Cheesecake is crazy.
Yeah.
That would be,
And I eat cheesecake. I eat blueberries. Like I literally got a list of the ingredients from the guy who made it.
Oh, you ordered it? You got a list?
No, like it's from a friend. Like one of my, don't make a big deal out of it. One of my roommate's friends, not like that.
Okay, but what was in the ingredients?
Just normal shit. Like fucking graham crackers and blueberries and cream cheese, whatever goes into cheesecake.
That is so weird.
Sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg.
So weird.
I know.
It could
but I will say like
blueberry, huh?
I will say though, like, you know, like when you're little and like someone breaks their leg and you're like low-key jealous, like, damn, I wish I had crushes and all that attention. Like, I've never had something that extreme happen. So it's like, damn, like that was kind of cool. Like I survived that shit. Like
I'm screaming.
So just thinking about the wet and all the drive.
It would be a reason to call out of work. That's always good. Low-key, I love when
Right,
you
I
get
wish I had a
sick and
job
you have
right now.
reason.
It was also at midnight because I ate the cheesecake mad late. But
Bitch just can't go to sleep. She's just like...
It started like an hour after. Started with itchy hands, went down the whole body. Insane, you guys. But let's get into this episode. And as Fiji said, we are talking about limerence. We kind of covered this topic and idea in one of our previous episodes that was about yearning. But we always said we wanted to expand more on it. So here we fucking go. We're going to talk about what limerence is. We're going to talk about limerence in the queer community. Limerence versus a crush. Like if limerence is bad versus when it's kind of like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, so let's start with defining limerence and what it means. There's a lot of definitions out there, obviously, but I really liked this one from the Attachment Project. I feel like it like broke it down in a simple way. Bitch, I don't know why, but they like whoever's on the writing team is like eating.
They're fired. They have a quiz too. They have an attachment style quiz that's honestly great.
Oh,
check it out.
Is it
guys.
like long though? They're always so long.
It's decently long. It's not too bad, but it tells you about your attachment style. Like it's helpful.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's necessary. Yeah. Okay. Limerence means having an intense longing for another person, even when they don't fully reciprocate. The limerent person struggles to think about anything else but their crush and neglects their social life, work, and other responsibilities as a result. The term was first coined by psychologist Dorothy Tenov in the 1970s when she conducted a series of interviews and noticed some people's experiences of love were particularly intense. She found that this intense feeling can affect anybody regardless of gender, age, culture, background, or any other trait. So it's just this kind of intense feeling, all-consuming, maybe a little obsessive, very daydreamy. You know, there's levels to this shit as there is with everything. I think it can get to a point where this is like really a problem, but just feeling a little limerence or lust every once in a while, like it is part of the human experience. But I definitely didn't know like what the fuck limerence was until we did that yearning episode. And I still, even preparing for this, had to look it up again. Like it just didn't stick with me.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I really get it after, you know, just reading more. I'm like, okay, I feel, because it's a lot, honestly.
It's a lot. And most of what I saw about it was like from like TikToks that kind of like, you know, touch on it or water it down, but it can get really fucking deep.
Exactly.
So there's like levels, like how it says, you know, they can't focus on their social life, work, like anything else. Like that is like bordering on like a mental health condition, right? Like it can get bad, but it can also be like, you know,
fun,
obsessive
cute,
crush.
Delulu, like listening to Brat, daydreaming like I do every single day. So we basically asked you guys the overwhelming question. Are you able to identify when it's limerence versus love? Because I'm going to tell y'all right the fuck now, like, I think yesterday was the first day I was able to, like, really think about this and figure it out. But 53% of y'all said yes. 42% of y'all said, I don't know, it's hard. And 5% said no. And like, honestly, like speaking right now, I'm kind of more in the, I don't know, it's hard space, but like, no yesterday, like no, the day before yesterday, I was really like, I have not been hip to this at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I put yes. I feel like I have a harder difference between love and like trauma bonds. I feel like that's more of a
that's
thing
a tough
with me.
one for sure, babe.
But like, I don't know, because I did have like someone that I limerenced over for like quite a while, and I definitely
can you
think I
use
was
it
in
like
love
a
with
verb?
them.
Like, is that a thing?
Limerencing? Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna make it a thing. I don't fucking know.
Cool.
But I think I know the difference. I think. I don't know.
So more on that difference. I was able to access a New York Times article called "Is It a Crush or Have You Fallen into Limerence?" And I think I have an account at this point. I mean, how the fuck am I accessing it? I must be paying for it. So anyways, really good article. Just going to read a little bit. But New York Times said, what differentiates limerence from a crush or love is the intensity, an emotional roller coaster that fluctuates from euphoria to despair. Limerence, deeply fearful of rejection, allow their self-esteem to rest in the hands of an LO, who may not even know they exist. The LO is most often a friend, colleague, or stranger met in passing. It can also be someone with whom you've had a brief romantic encounter that feels unresolved, explains Dr. Perio, especially if the LO continues to leave breadcrumbs. And I think LO is like limerent object, like the person you're limerencing over. Because at first I was like, what the fuck? But like, this is tea to me because honestly, like that first sentence, like what differentiates it is the intensity and like the emotional roller coaster. And I'm like, bro, that's all my relationships.
Yeah.
Every single one. And I feel like, although I deep down know that maybe it's wrong, I do classify love with being intense. And I know that it can be intense, but I think that my relationships have been more intense than it should have been.
Yeah.
With some people.
But I'm like, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm like, what is the difference? Because I thought limerence is more when you like have a crush on someone and you have like no existence of a relationship with them at all.
Yeah.
Versus if you're in a relationship with them, that's beyond limerence.
So that's where it gets tricky. Basically, what I've come to the conclusion is what you said, the first thing you said about you don't know the person, you're limerencing over them. Maybe you've briefly talked or like you've never met them. It's a celebrity. But I think people will mistake love for limerence. They'll enter a relationship too quickly and mistake limerence for love and then realize we're not even compatible or I just liked the idea of you. So I feel like it can be talked about in two different senses.
Yeah.
But I feel you. And that's why it's like we said, it's like it's a lot.
Yeah, because it can be like a delusional crush that you have like no like whatever with, but even like Becca Moore and Shannon Beveridge, like I listened to her podcast where she like came out and she talked about like meeting Shannon and she was pretty much saying like, did you listen to the episode?
No.
Okay, well she was pretty much saying they had like this video shoot and she met Shannon on set and became like obsessed with her and was like literally telling everyone in her life like I have such a crush on her, like da-da-da-da, like and she didn't know who she was.
And
she didn't know who she was before. And she was like, it's so like me to like realize I'm gay through having a crush on like one of the most popular lesbians like in the fame community or whatever.
No, like that's why I'm like, how did you not know who she was? Because she didn't know she was gay, I guess. Like,
yeah, I think she might have like known who she was, but like hadn't like thought of it.
She was never like, I love.
Yeah, until she met her like in person. But I'm like, that's a situation that is like, you know, maybe kind of limerence that like turns into a relationship. And I feel like I've had like situationships in the past or like fuck buddies that I've kind of like limerenced over where we had like a little bit of a like sex relationship that was like kind of there, but like we didn't have an intimate relationship or whatever. So I'm like limerencing and like imagining it to be more or like it led to more. But also, like, yeah, I've definitely had like intense crushes on like random fucking people. Like, I don't know if I want to say like
all
coworkers.
I fucking do.
And then you like masturbate thinking about them.
That's
like,
literally all I fucking do. That's
Yeah.
all I do. But I think you nailed it. It's like the difference between when you don't know them and it's like a daydream and it's, you know, somewhat harmless if you never plan on acting on it unless you like drive yourself insane. But then there's the relationship piece. So those two are like important like to distinguish. So we pulled this article from the Medium and it says love or limerence. On the surface, experiencing limerence sounds like falling in love. You meet someone, you feel attraction and desire towards them. You start thinking about them all the time, even when they're not around. You fantasize about when you two will meet again. You become slightly obsessed, overanalyzing their every move. You start spinning a narrative in your head about who this person is and why they are significant to you. We all do it to varying degrees. It's completely normal. However, once you get through the initial stages of dating, you might start to notice that you feel almost disappointed after seeing this person. In limerence, we often feel this letdown as we start to realize there's a discrepancy between reality and our fantasy about this person. If this were rational attraction, we would take the interaction at face value. Our feeling of disappointment would effectively lessen our attraction towards this person. However, in limerence, the disconnect only serves to make us more obsessed. You can't wait to see them again. You need to see them again. You think it's because you're hopelessly attracted to them, but really it's because you want another chance to play out the fantasy that you've imagined. This is limerence, the act of being so caught up in a narrative of your own creation. It's a sort of delusion where you apply your own skewed interpretation to every interaction with this person to justify your continued adoration of them.
Bro.
And it's just like, you guys, it hits too deep, especially for like the Twitch streamers that I crush on. Like, I have no idea who these people really are just because I watch them play like a 25-minute game online and they're like being funny. And I'm like, oh, she's a dom. Like, she would fucking like, like, no, like, I don't. And it's just really that whole thing of like putting things on people that you want them to be rather than seeing them from who they really are. Rather than seeing them for who they really are is, I think, a thing a lot of people can relate to, myself included.
Yeah. All I can think of is the fucking crush I had in college because it was so bad. Like, guys, like, you don't understand. I had a crush on him from like I've talked about it before, but if you're new, I had a crush on him from like fucking freshman year to like beyond after graduation, like the whole fucking thing.
Bitch, currently.
And I would always take it low key. No, kidding. But I would always, he has me blocked. I would always take it.
No, honestly, it's over. Yeah.
I would take it as a huge sign whenever we had had class together, like our schedules, like we would always have a class together.
You'd be like,
at least once a semester, but it's like, okay, we had the same fucking major. It's a small ass school. And then no, what really, one he drew, so he like drew my butt in class.
And she thought every song was about her.
Every single song was about me. No, the one that put the cherry on top was I studied abroad in London, right? Okay, I was in London. His girlfriend studied abroad in London as well, which is why this made it worse. Because it was never going to happen. He was a loyal fucking boyfriend to his girlfriend. Like, it was not a thing.
Super
even though I
loyal.
low-key think he, like, kind of flirted with me a couple times. Again, it could be my delusions. But I was in Kensington, London, okay? I was going to the Texaco to get little snacks, high as fuck, with my roommates. I saw him there with his girlfriend, and I was like, imagine the delusions. Yeah. I was like, what are the odds that I would see him, and I'm in London, and he's in London with his girlfriend visiting her, and it's just like right person, wrong time. Like, there were so many things that I would just like make up into my head and be like, no, like, we are meant to fucking be. We're meant to be.
It's
and I
crazy.
mean, he eventually like reciprocated like some stuff. Like, he had like commented on my post. Like, there was flirting like towards the end of things, but like the way that, I mean, I can thank him because it was like the most depressive period of my life, but like I always made sure I went to the classes that he was in. Like, no matter what, like I can thank him honestly for part of my fucking degree because I went to those classes because of him.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. Oh my God, that's crazy. No, but I relate so hard. Like, I've done this with so many people, like more than I can even count. But the one that stands out a lot, too, is freshman year, like, not the girl, like, the cool girl I was dating, but her best friend. Like, remember how I was, like, kind of into her best friend, too?
The one that does film, too?
And dance. Yeah. Did we never talk about this at the time?
Is it?
Yeah. But we basically, and she was just, like, so shy. Like, she was really sweet, and I'm sure she was, like, outgoing around her friends. But she was just, like, so shy. So talented, like so straight, like painfully straight, but she would wear like a backwards hat and I would like have an orgasm. Like, it was like that.
I feel like she would wear forwards hats. I could not see her wearing a fucking backwards
She had a few pictures in backwards, so did the other one. But anyways, I made her up to be this whole different personality in my head that she wasn't. And I, like, after me and the other girl broke up, like, it was just in full fucking blast. And, bro, I'm so unhinged and so gross. But I remember that I texted her, like, years later and was like, because I used to, like, have sleepovers in their dorm because I would be with the other girl and she also slept in that room. Like, we weren't having sex. Like, we would all just sleep.
Yeah.
And I said something so crazy. And I was like, it's crazy, like, when I was, like, in the room, like, I low-key wanted to be with you. Like, yeah.
Wait, and to her in person or through text?
Through DM. Oh my God.
And what did
obviously
she say?
Bro, she never responded.
Oh my
and
God.
then I heard from the grapevine from that other girl that lives here. Yes. But it, like, I don't think the original girl that I was dating, like, knows, because, like, we're still cool. Like, we honestly talk, like, at least once a week, like, Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, like, we be responding, so... But yeah, that's crazy. But that really goes to show, like, that was just my 19-year-old personality, like, in a story.
And it's also
I would
like,
slide into DMs so hard and make straight girls uncomfortable constantly. What
you're
the
like
fuck?
the boys. Like, honestly, it makes me
I
think of,
was.
like, I have like at least two. There's a couple of them, but there's two guys right now that respond to fucking everything that I post. Everything, and are like, good morning, bae. Like, good morning,
Okay, it
beautiful.
wasn't like that,
and
guys.
it's getting to the point, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like guys
Yeah,
can
yeah,
do
no,
this
I
too.
feel
like,
you.
we think
Just wanna make sure
girls-
they know.
Yeah, you weren't spamming them.
No,
but
no.
the part that you said, like, you made her up to be this, like, person in your head that, like, she wasn't. Like
she
I
was
did that
dumb.
so hard with the guy, too, because, like, he was a writing major like me and made music. Guys, his music is like good. Like some of it is good, but like a lot of it's not that great. But like I would make it up in my head that he was like this super deep, artistic, amazing person, like someone out of a fucking novel. Like you're not even engaging with a real fucking person. You're literally like just fantasizing.
Stop. And I feel like going off of that too, it's like when you think about, like, this is kind of harmless, you know, if you're not really doing anything, like, why not make them feel like a literature character in a book or whatever? But then it's like when you're in a relationship with someone and you have this, like, perception or idea of someone that you want them to be, and you're limerencing into the relationship and you believe it so hard, and they're actually, like, an asshole. Like, they're not a good person. So that's, like, the deeper end of that, too.
And it's
like,
kind of, like, intrusive and weird. Because imagine, like, it flipped. Like, imagine someone was like that towards you. Like, had all these, like, crazy fantasies and ideas of, like, who you are as a person.
that's
like,
creepy as
it can
fuck.
border out creepy as fuck, you know? But, like,
I'd be
exactly, if
flattered,
you
though.
get... I know, me too. I'd low-key want to fuck them just for the, like, you know, on some,
just
like,
so I could
worship
feel like
shit.
the baddest bitch. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But, like...
I'm down.
I feel like once you get into, like, if you actually do end up, like, fucking this person, getting into a relationship, like, whatever, that's where it can get, like, super toxic because, like, you believe this person is not who they are, so you're not engaging in the real them in the relationship anyway. So it's starting from, like, a terrible place.
Yeah, and this is so corny, but our brains really are crazy. And, like, what we think, like, we believe it. Like, our brain's like, okay, cool, we've had this thought like 45 times today, so that must be
that's
like
reality.
So it's scary for real. So more on limerence from that New York Times article. We found limerence is nourished by replaying memories and rehearsing future interactions. Quote, there's a fair amount of mental time travel, quote, said Dr. Porio, who asked survey respondents to write descriptions of these fantasies. He said it's often not romantic or sexual in nature. It is very much about wanting to feel loved and cared for. Chris Gregory, age 53, a certified yoga instructor in Denver, okay, Chris, recalls first experiencing limerence in high school. He said, I would develop insanely obsessive crushes on women and then not pursue them. Then I would be crushed by them not responding the way the scene had played out in my own head and heart. I felt unworthy. Gregory continued to experience limerence through his adult life, he said, but mistook it for love. And I feel like that first part, like, it's not often romantic or sexual in nature. Like, I feel like I'm not saying I agree with it, but I think what they're trying to say is, like, you know, it's like limerence or love. So it's not really love. It's more like you don't want to be rejected. You want to build up something that is not really there. So it's like that's a bold statement, you know, but the in nature part is like it's not really about that, although you are engaging romantically and sexually a lot of the times.
Because you're like
thinking about that. Yeah.
Because you're like projecting onto them. So the part where he's like, it's very much about wanting to feel loved or cared for. Like, it kind of reminds me of, which is like an insane degree that becomes stalking and abuse. But like Baby Reindeer, like in the show, the woman had this insane crush obsession with him. She was stalking him. She like called him her baby reindeer. Like she made up all this stuff in her head, you know, but it was like a projection of like, I think her wanting to be like loved and cared for or whatever. It wasn't really like even about who he was because she had done it to other people.
It's about the person doing the limerancing.
Yeah, because like usually like I feel like whenever I've had these like insane crushes or like whatever, even with like music artists or like famous people, it's like usually like a archetype of a person that you want in your life to love you in a way that like fulfills these certain things that you've never had before. Like for me, it's like, oh, I want like an artist in my life that writes like deep poetry about me and like connects with me on like this like deeper level because I want that type of love. Like it's not like they are that person. It's about like what I want out of them, you know?
Right. I know. And it's like, can I slowly make them this way over time? Like not consciously, but like subconsciously, that's what you're like kind of thinking about. And I feel like most of the time I am limerancing about specific people, whether it be celebrities, people I consider to be celebrities that are successful, but you know, you guys don't know who Jen McAllister is. If you do, shout out Jen McAllister. But anyways, I feel like as I do that, I also will think about like a dream woman partner. When I think about like a dream man, I don't really have anything specific, but like I feel like my dream woman partner is like I have that to a T and I like want to manifest that, but that also like feels wrong because you're never gonna, you know, it's confusing like the daydreamy shit. I feel.
No one's gonna be like come out with like all your boxes checked. Like there is no, I mean maybe that's cynical. Maybe there is like a dream person that checks everything. Like I don't fucking know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so
there's
either.
always gonna be something. Like
right.
There's
no
you
relationship is perfect like fairy tale vibes. Like it's
whether
not,
it's family, friends, like there's always something you're like, ugh. You know?
You're always not going to be like compatible on certain things. But like the second part, like this guy talking about
so
like it's
real.
starting in high school, like it reminds me of like a lot of those movies that were in like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s where it would be like the nerdy guy who had like this insane crush on like the girl and then it becomes a thing. Like it's this weird fantasy, which we've talked about how like we low-key have like a fantasy for like a nerdy person being like obsessed with us and like worshiping us.
Bro, is that bad?
I
like,
feel like it's like an egotistical,
like, that too?
Like maybe we're fucking narcissistic.
I mean,
like,
fantasies are that's arguably better than like a dungeon situation.
Yeah, because I feel like all of mine, like, low-key also have that, like, component of, like, I'm imagining them being obsessed with me as well.
It's on some Aphrodite shit, too, though.
Right. It's on some, like, kind of, like, narcissistic love you can never attain, like, crazy.
But, like, goddess, like, feminine womb, like, worship me, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's, like, big that, because I see this a lot on TikTok where it's all the girlies talking about it, like, that's how I really came to find out about it. But I really think it's a thing that men do a fucking lot as well and, like, create this, like, art, movies, songs, like, whatever about to, like, a different degree. And even, like, the men in our DMs, like, they're all limerancing too. But we just, like, female code it, you know?
Because I also feel like in movies, too, it's, like, and then the guy will, like, get mad at the girl unwarranted because she didn't even know. Or type shit. Like,
right.
And it's like, so yeah, men definitely do it as well. We all do it. It's a human thing. And even going back to the other excerpt that we read, it's like, when you have a crush, like, you're gonna think about them. Like, if you really like someone, it's like, that's a human experience. Like, that's normal. It's not like you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's just about, like, checking in with yourself and, like, making sure your priority is to, like, actually get to know this person and see if you're compatible, rather than just, like, freak out. Like, as my mom likes to say, like, just keep it cool, Autumn. Like, she always tells me that. Like, whenever I like someone, I'm like, oh, my God, like, freaking out. She's like, just keep it cool. Like, calm down, you know? And I think it's real, so.
Yeah, because then I feel like you're engaging in reality. Like, it is good to, like, act on it. Like, if you really have a crush on this person, ask them out, DM them, like, do what you did, send that DM, and then when they, like, don't respond, like, you're gonna hit that emotional fucking low. But also, like go with that.
But she was straight. Like, I knew.
Yeah.
At least she wasn't like, fuck off,
yeah,
you know?
that would be so much worse.
Yeah. But yeah, and we just wanted to give a note about the culture as well. Like, limerence taking place within this, like, you know, social media, Gen Z society bubble, whatever. So from the same New York Times article, it says the American Perspective survey found that almost a third of single Americans, roughly equal between men and women, have been ghosted by someone they were dating. The lack of communication common after physical intimacy is enough to drive many people to feel anxious, if not limerent. With a dating pool that seems infinite, people feel expendable. Being ghosted can create an open tab inside your brain. It's easy to feel like there's no obligation to close a loop, Dr. Solomon said. You can start to project onto the person a whole bunch of what ifs. It's easy to idealize somebody you've just met.
Yeah.
That's tea, you know what I mean? And ghosting, we feel, you know, certain types of ways. But I also do feel like, just going off of that, like, dating is so difficult as it is, whether you're queer, you know, whatever, straight. And so when you find someone, it is kind of like you want to latch on, because it's like everybody sucks, you know? Like, I feel like people always say that. I say that. I need to stop saying that. But it's like you feel like that sometimes. So even to take it a step further too, it's like you feel like you want to just hype it up and stay and try to just make it work, you know?
Yeah, because crushes can be, like, fun. Like, it's a reason to be, like, excited. Like, it's got that illusion of feeling like love when you just feel, like, happy all the time. Like, you're being fucked good and stuff. But, like, the closed loop is so real. And it makes me think, like, I'd seen this TikTok a while ago where it's, like, I was talking about, like, when you break up with someone and how, like, you constantly, like, check their social media and, like, whatever. Like, I know. We were just talking about this on camera.
Still, what if you broke up 4 years ago? Do you still do it?
I mean, it was not 4 years ago, but either way. Well, maybe, actually, yeah. But,
like,
same.
Close, bro.
But, like, it says to, like, not do those things because, like, that, like, tricks your brain into thinking, like, they're still a part of your life when they're not anymore. But, like, especially if you didn't even have a real relationship with this person and you just fucked them or, like, whatever, they ghosted you, even though they're not physically in your life or engaging with you, because we have access to social media where we can see them living and stalk their life and project onto them more. You're stuck in this little loop hamster wheel of, like, delusional thinking, you know? I definitely do it too. Like, especially I feel like in the past with, like, exes or people that it didn't work out with, like, I'm, like, stalking their profile to be like, oh, like, they're definitely still thinking about me. Oh, like, da-da-da. Like, you know, like, posting things that you think they're gonna see. Like, there was actually a trend of that on TikTok where it was like, you know, it's the song where it's like, I remember when I lost my mind. And then it'll be like, when I posted this to get my crush's attention, like, my crush said they liked fucking anime. Bro. So I dressed up like an anime character. Those had me fucking dying because it's so real.
Funny. Bro, but the worst time was, like, my OG delusional crush, like, the bitch I've talked about a lot. The woman. I need to stop doing that. The woman I've previously spoken about on this podcast. This was a while ago because, so she had a girlfriend and was posting, and we had, like, I had flirted with her back and forth in DMs, and she, like, entertained it or whatever, but wasn't really, like, flirting back.
She liked a couple messages.
And bro, the content, the amount they were posting together, like, I was losing it. Like, I couldn't see it anymore.
You were surprised.
But wait, babe, so I took it a step further, bitch, and I messaged her. And I go, I think I need to unfollow. And then she replies, can't handle it, ? Winky face. And I was like, no, like, I really can't.
She's playing with you.
Bro, she's playing with me so hard, and that just makes me want her more, like, for real.
But that's one thing that I love about you, because I feel like you do
I have no
act
shame.
on it. Like, you act on it, which is honestly, like, iconic, because, like, I only have a couple times, but, like, that's iconic. At least they know, and when they break up, you know, she might have it in her fucking head.
Bro, but they've been broken up, and she even said, she was like, honestly, like, you really just go for it, don't you? I was like, yeah, like, why the fuck wouldn't I?
She's gonna think, like, you would Tom her or something because the way you're so forward sometimes.
Yeah, and she will be very, very wrong and for a rude awakening. But we've kind of already talked about it, but I do want to expand a little bit on just kind of limerence being fun versus like harmful. Yeah. Because I do think like me fantasizing about Billie Eilish, Jen McAllister, I'm not like looking up their address. I'm not trying to like stalk them. Like it's literally just like a fun thing that I'll do like if I'm working out. Like honestly, that's why I tell you I like to listen to music. I'm so creative, bitch. Like I'm so vivid. Like I will just walk on the treadmill and just like go deep in like step-by-step scenarios of like Billie Eilish wasn't a famous person and like we just met at a bar in London and like this is what I'm wearing. Like I really go all out. And so I feel like that's okay. Like it's okay to have a fun little crush and like be obsessive. I feel like when it gets harmful is like, you know, right at the beginning when they said you're neglecting your social life, your work, your family, whoever, when it's all consuming, you're actually like wanting to enter a real relationship. You're reaching out to this person. It shouldn't be all consuming like that. It should be fun. But also it's like, I really think sometimes when we have big crushes, we do need to like check ourselves and be like, okay, but they're still just a human being. And that's not to say you can be like super falling for them because that's so fun. Like that's the reason we love, right? Like it feels fucking good. Like it feels euphoric. It's exciting. It's like, wow, like a reason to live type shit.
Literally.
You know, and so it's okay. Like we don't want to lose that. But I just think I've noticed it in myself too. Like when things get too far, it feels just different and like not in a good way and maybe not sustainable to be so on fire constantly.
And it's like that sense of like, oh, there's still like a real person, because I feel like especially like, I've realized this being in Atlanta where it's like, you know, the underground is like a thing and there's like a lot of people that are like famous or semi-famous that I have been at the same bars with, have mutual friends with, people that I used to be or still are like obsessed with their music, like obsessed with who they are, like think they're so cool, whatever. And then I end up like at an after party with this person and then it's like, you're kind of just sitting there like, like, I don't even know how to, like, actually, like, talk and engage, like, with this person, even though, like, we're literally, like, we're on the same level in the sense of, like, we're in the same room and they're just vibing and we're all just friends and we're all just cool. But, like, also I'm thinking in my head, like, oh, they don't know how much I've listened to their fucking music, obsessed over them, like, whatever. And that kind of, like, pulls you out of it to a point where you're like, oh, like, they're literally just a regular person just like me. So it's, like, it gets weird, like, in some ways that could feed your delusions, like, oh, you could end up with this famous person or this super popular person or whatever. But
like
at the
they
same
were right
time,
there.
Like, you feel so like hyper conscious of like your obsession with them when you're like in the same room as them, because you're like, oh shit, like this is kind of weird. Like I don't want to like
and then they like yawn and like give you the ick or like something,
right?
You know?
And they break the spell. Like they always say,
that's
like,
why
don't
it's
meet
good
your
to just
idols.
leave it. Just leave it, bro. Leave the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
What's it called when you ain't talked to someone in months, but you think about them all the time?
Let's unpack the difference between a crush and having limerence for somebody. So a basic crush is usually just finding somebody attractive, is very lighthearted, is very playful, friendly. Oh, they're cute, ha ha ha. Or, oh, I like them. You know, and it kind of just stays where it's at. You might think about them, you know, from time to time or maybe a couple times a day. But you're not taking it to the extreme. Like you may think of, oh, maybe I'll ask them out, whatever. But you have your friends, you have your other priorities. That's that. It doesn't consume you or drive your thoughts 24/7 every waking minute of the day. Now, limerence, on the other hand, is like a crush times 10. It is a deep infatuation. It is an obsession with a person where they are just all consuming. They are consuming your thoughts. Every minute of the day is spent thinking of them or how to obtain them or how to be with them or how to get closer to them. They are literally all you think about. And this can like start very like, okay, yeah, I'm thinking about them all the time, to now I'm like getting obsessive. Like I'm looking at their pages. I'm trying to figure out like where they hang out, or I'm trying to get closer to their friends. Like it can really get to that point. Limerence is basically when a crush takes over your life. And it doesn't have to be just a romantic thing. You can have limerence for a friend, a teacher. It could be romantic. It can be sexual. It can be literally anybody. It can be a character, a celebrity, anybody. Crushes can also be for multiple people. Like you can have many crushes, but limerence, usually of strong obsession, is only for one person at a time. it's not likely that you'll have like the super, super, super intense amount of limerence for 3, 4, 5 people at once. It's like usually like one person has your attention, and if that one starts to wear off, your brain starts to look for somebody else to attach to. So if you think back over the course of your life, if you really think about the crushes you had, were they like just lighthearted, regular, oh, you know, think about them, or you try to date them, or, you know, whatever? Or was it like you were obsessed with one person at a time, or you like always were thinking about like this one person? Or if you didn't have somebody to obsess over, you felt really weird, you felt disconnected, but having somebody to like obsess over and think about and want to be with, it drives you, it motivates you.
Okay, so this is the thing, because I feel like it gets like iffy and I get confused, because when she's like, oh, a crush is just someone you're like, you know, kind of into, like you think they're cute, whatever, versus limerence's obsession. And I'm like, I'm not obsessing to the point where it is like ruining my daily life, but I'm definitely obsessing. And I feel like I've had like, I'm like, oh, I don't have crushes, but I feel like I have, but it's just like, if it's a little crush, I don't really give a fuck. So I don't know, like the line, like, I feel like I've never been to the extreme where I can't eat, sleep, drink, whatever the fuck without thinking about this person. But like, I don't think I know how to have like, oh, I think they're cute, but it's so rare for me to actually like be really into more than what a person looks like also like their personality or what my perception is. Yeah. That like it usually becomes obsession.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like even like with my delusional crush, like I really don't give a fuck, because honestly, if I did, I probably wouldn't be that bold, because I'd be like more scared of rejection. But at this point, I'm like, honestly, when she rejects me, it just makes me want, like, it's like a game. Like, but it's fun. But doesn't
it make you spiral? Because low-key, like, there would be times where I would, like, respond to the dude I was obsessed with story, or like some song, and like he wouldn't respond the way I would want him to, and then I would like send Autumn like a 5-minute voice memo, like like literally, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's that up and down.
Yeah, it is. And then it's like I'll like have it in my DMs, like not open it and just be like, yeah, like we talk, like we don't even know each other, bro. Like, it's like actually crazy. But I do really, really relate to kind of just like having limerence before I enter a relationship, and like confusing limerence with falling in love, because I do think falling in love takes a lot of time, and we're going to get into that more in depth. But, and even like with my first relationship, just being like, oh, she's not really poly though, like we'll be together. Like, it's like, no, she was, like, and she told you,
take it at face value,
the first fucking night, like, ever. So it's like I'm like really creating who I wanted her to be, you know? Yeah. So it's kind of scary, like, honestly, and it's not fun. And just the part in the TikTok where she was like, look back on all the crushes you've ever had. It's like, it's giving compet. It's giving the lesbian doc, like, have you, like, has this been, you've been viewing men your whole life? And this is like, is this how you've been viewing crushes and love? It's like, God damn.
Like,
but okay, so switching gears, we asked you guys more polls. This one is, how often do you play out scenarios in your head with crushes you have not met in real life? 46% said a lot. I love a fantasy. 29% said never, rarely. 25% said only when I'm planning to meet up for real. And I'm definitely a lot. I love a fantasy.
The thing that threw me about this one is when you have not met in real life, because I feel like I do this, but it's only people that I've met in real life. Like, there's just, like, I don't know if it's just me, but, like, there's something about, like, I don't think I obsess as much. I've never really obsessed over celebrities for real. Like, I've obsessed over their music and, like, who they are as a person, but not, like, in a love, like, whatever
You're
way.
Not a fangirl.
Yeah, but, like, if it's, like, someone that I met in real life and we had an interaction, then I will do that, but not.
Even if the interaction was so brief, like, hi, how are you? Yeah. Yeah,
like,
especially then, low-key. The littlest I get, the better, because then I have more room to, on God. And the next poll we asked y'all was, do you feel yourself obsessing over these scenarios? And 58% said, yes, it's bad. I really want it to happen. And 42% said, no, it's just a fun thought exercise, LOL. And I feel like especially for the celebrities and like the people I've met briefly that I have delusional crushes on. Like, it really is just like a fun thought exercise. But I think, again, with like Limerincing, instead of like building a sustainable connection, is where I fall into the obsession space.
Yeah,
not
same.
directly in the middle, like.
Yeah, because, like,
There's
honestly,
a line.
it's like, I feel like it's that I'll lie to myself and be like, oh, like, I don't really want this. Like, especially if I'm masturbating, like, thinking about a certain person or scenario. Like, I'll be like, oh, no, I don't really want that to happen. But I fucking do. Like, I do.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's to the point
Yeah,
where, like,
you
I've,
did.
like, had fantasies and masturbated thinking about these, like, fantasies with these people. But then it's, like, become real in certain instances. So it's like, I don't know, like maybe I was doing some magic for real.
I mean, we definitely are manifesting with our thoughts, but it's just like sometimes I feel like we manifest the wrong things. Like, we manifest the psycho energy that comes with it, rather than like a good outcome.
I remember when I had this obsession with this one. The same dude. I remember it was like deep into like TikTok tarot card readings, which just drive your fucking delusions harder.
Yeah, you went through a phase with that.
Yeah, but it was like, it was with one of my exes too. I saw this TikTok that was like, oh my God, guys, it's so embarrassing. Like, how to like get a person to like think about you too. And it was like, oh, you need to like,
why
go
do I
to sleep.
remember this?
Like,
why do I remember
imagine them at your window and then like have a dream about them, and then like low key, like, it would happen. They would like reply to my story. Like, I don't know, but I'm just saying.
No,
like,
because I've had so many dreams about my delusional crush. She's not doing anything.
Because you didn't do the ritual. Like, it's like witchcraft where you have to like go to sleep. You have to like put something under your pillow, and then you have to like imagine.
What, a lock of
like,
their hair?
Going out your. It's something with a window.
With a window.
There's something with a window. Guys, I'm not
I
this
have
crazy
one
anymore.
Right in
but
my
like,
room.
you
Thank
know,
God,
I don't promote like witchcraft and things like that. Like, we talked about that in yearning too, because like it can get iffy and low key. I think I've done some witchcraft before that like did not
unintentionally.
Yeah, that like intentionally or unintentionally that did not favor well. Like, I low key believe in like when you're playing with that energy. So like, be fucking careful, because that shit is like, I don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't promote witchcraft, fucked witchcraft. It's like I don't promote it because it's more serious than some of y'all think.
And to manipulate other people. Like how we talked about in, was it period sex? We talked about it in yearning, I think, and period sex, or one of those, where it was like something about witchcraft and like blood magic.
And blood magic, and also period sex. That episode that y'all loved so much.
I just said period.
You said yearning before that.
I said and period sex. Yeah,
got you.
We got it.
Guys. Okay. Let's move into sapphic limerence specifically. And we'll start with our next poll. We asked you guys, do you think the queer community has a harder time with limerence? And this one was very evenly split. 56% said yes, and 44% said no. Same for all sexualities. And I don't know, dude. Like, I honestly feel like it's kind of like, it's not the same for all sexualities. Like, I should have worded that differently, but I think all humans experience limerence a lot. What we're going to get into is the real life stereotype that lesbians move very quickly, and because they're women, bond, emotional, blah, blah, blah. That, I think, is a really big problem.
Yeah, I feel like for me, when I thought of this, I put yes, because I was thinking about a lot of
I put yes too, but like now I'm like.
You're like, no, but you did the research. But I'm like, I think about a lot of my like queer friends who have had like crushes on people who are like either completely straight or like questionably DL or questioning or whatever, but like not totally sure. But I've had friends that have had like intense like limerence crushes, like that they've talked about, told me about, like showed me, like going through their Spotify playlist, like whatever, on people that like it's like kind of clear not reciprocation because the person's like straight or whatever. And I kind of like, I had one girl that I was like kind of like obsessed with. Like I met her at this bar, like whatever. She like told me she was like straight and like was not into me, like whatever. But then she like did message me and she was like, oh, like I have like hooked up with girls, but I just don't like people to like think that about me. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, so you are, so there's hope, but also like What do you mean you don't want people to
Yeah.
think that?
No, I remember like in high school specifically, I had a huge crush on this one girl that identified as straight at the time. Now they're gay. I fucking knew it, whatever. But I had such a crush, and it was like I don't know, like I think that they knew they were questioning, but they just weren't really ready to like share it. But it was like everyone knew, it was like open information. Like, yeah, like Autumn's a fangirl for this person, because I was so openly queer, and like, I don't know. And it was still a time, it was like 2015. That still wasn't like that acceptable. Like I still got shit from it, but just like, I just didn't care. Like I came from a gay family. I was like, whatever. Like one day I'm going to leave to LA and none of this will matter. That's literally what I would say to myself.
I mean, I had that girl that had like a crush on me and tried to like talk to me, and I was like, oh no, well, I'm not gay. But then I was like low key like questioning. So I feel like the thing about it too with some of this stuff is that like sometimes there is like a sense of like intuition where you feel like a reciprocation or a sexual tension with this person, where it's like it could be there and it could exist, so you're not completely delusional, but at the same time like it can get crazy. So I don't know.
Right. And the tea is, I remember like when I was applying to Emerson, this is like so corny and embarrassing, but I was like a film major, never made a movie before, bitch. I wanted to like do casting or writing. I was like, great, I have to like pick up a camera, like whatever. So I made this short film about identities and people talking about their intersecting identities.
Foreshadowing.
And I asked her to be on it, and I told everyone like at the beginning, like say your name, like your pronouns, your sexuality, like your ethnicity, whatever. Like I had a whole fucking list. I was like, just say it all. And she was like, I just don't feel comfortable, like, the sexuality question. And I remember being so happy that I was like, yep, no problem. I was like,
that's a sign.
Absolutely no problem. Because I think she wasn't sure, but she didn't feel comfortable, like, sitting in front. Like, I had a whole set, like, and just being like, I identify as a straight woman. Like, I just don't think she was. But that was, like, the best moment of my life. I knew like, in that moment, I was like, wow. And you met her. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Does she?
And we went to Pride that one time. We got all those pics.
Okay, yeah, I remember who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just crazy. But more about a sapphic lesbian. We found this article from Medium, and it's this organization called Conscious Girlfriend, and they wrote this article. They said, both our work and our personal lives have shown that lesbian relationships can be the deepest and best relationships on the planet. But also the most painful if you don't know how to do them right. Because two women can bond so quickly and deeply, we often commit to one another very quickly. And this becomes a big problem when you've quickly committed to someone with whom you're not actually compatible, bitch. Even once you recognize that someone isn't right for you, the level of emotional bonding often makes it very hard and painful for two women to separate. And like, this was my last relationship. Yeah. I limerenced my way the fuck. I'm like camp counselor, this and that.
She was not who you thought she
not
was.
A camp counselor. Found out new information about certain things. It was fucking hard though. I was already in so deep, and it's like falling for someone before you know you're compatible. It's like so real, and I do think that queer women struggle with that. And it's like the U-Haul stereotype. It's like, and yes, you can fall in love quickly, but it's like to really have a long relationship that lasts and like you have all the conversation. It's like that takes time. It doesn't matter if you're gay, like that takes fucking time, you know?
Yeah.
And I also, it's like, that stereotype is true, but also not all women are like so emotionally intelligent and like dive into their feelings right away. Like that's crazy. Like so many women are not like that in my experience. So it's just like, I don't know. But I think about my queer relationships, and I mean, they all sing the same tune, as they say. Like it was very Limerence-y from the beginning. And I think, you know, in the first one, I just got lucky that she was on the same page with me about everything. But I do think, like, that's why it's like I really was in love with her, because we were compatible. Like, except for the fact that she was poly, like, just that little detail. But other than that, you know, but it's so real, and I've lived it, guys. Like, it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know because I've never been like in love with a woman, so like I can't really speak from like my
But what do
own
you think about that?
experience.
Like, do you feel like, you know, the lesbian U-Haul, everyone jokes about it. It's like, and lesbian, you've seen, like, from me and
Yes.
people around
Other
you, like,
people, yeah.
lesbians move fast. It's like, I moved fast. I went to Europe and came back and was, like, literally die hard in love, like, whatever. Like, do you think that, oh, well, you know, two women, so it makes sense? Or do you think, like, that's not possible? Like, you need more time.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely, like, regardless, you need more time to, like, get to know
Right.
someone. But I feel like, I don't know, because, like,
Yeah.
that, even with, like, women, when I was talking to women on, like, Hinge or, like, trying to, like, date more women, like, one of the things, like, because of that stereotype, always, like, turned me off a little bit. And I would have women, like, kind of try to do that to, like, me. But I was like, whoa. But I feel like I do it to straight men. So it's, like, weird. Like, I feel like, for me, it's like, oh, I want someone who's not going to reciprocate it because if they do, then it's like too much too fast. But like, I don't know. I've seen some of my like queer friends like do this and like U-Haul and like it's always like, I don't know, like the lesbian friends that I've had and like lesbian relationships like that I've been like close to, there's always some toxic ass, crazy ass drama because I feel like there is some like element of like moving a little bit too quickly and like projecting and also I like skipping steps almost.
Because that was my biggest thing, like, with coming out. It's like you realize, like, just because someone's also a woman doesn't mean they get it and doesn't mean they have the same beliefs as you. Like, that was a hard pill to swallow, but it's fucking true. And you think it wouldn't be, and a lot of times it is, you know, you're on a good wavelength, but sometimes, like, I don't know, just the people I've dated, I guess. Yeah. But we're going to have a little story time. This is from the same article. It is a little lengthy, Fiji, but what I want us to do is just, we'll read paragraphs back and forth, like I separated them, so I can start and then, you know, we'll go, okay?
Got it.
All right. I was teaching at a writing conference when I first noticed Sarah across the room. As quickly as I could, I made a beeline across the room to talk to her. I was thrilled when she suggested we have lunch together, and then again when she invited me over to her house that evening. There, my feelings grew even stronger when I saw that her bookshelves were lined with books by some of my favorite writers.
Hot. The next day, during our lunch hours, Sarah took me to a center that rehabilitated injured hawks. Interesting. Since I love nature and have a particular passion for birds, it was the best date I could have imagined. Later that afternoon, we took a walk in the woods, found a little shelter someone had made in the trees, and kissed for some time. It was magic.
We saw each other again every day that week. On Friday night, Sarah finally invited me into her bed, and the passion between us was incredible. It looked and felt to me like the love I'd wanted all my life.
We had known each other for 5 days. 3 months into my relationship with Sarah, she didn't call me one evening when she said she would. The next day, it turned out she had been drinking till 5 a.m. with one of her exes.
I spent the whole day crying. I knew I should leave Sarah then, but I just couldn't. I was too deeply in love, so I stayed. 10 months after we started our whirlwind romance, Sarah broke up with me suddenly and without explanation.
I was devastated and in shock. I knew we'd had some big fights and painful times, but I thought we'd gotten through them. Or I thought we would get through them. I couldn't imagine my life without her.
I huddled for hours in the big green armchair in my living room, sobbing. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. One night at 2 a.m., I actually called a suicide hotline. I wasn't really thinking about killing myself. I just couldn't figure out how to go on.
A month after Sarah broke up with me, we saw each other again and ended up in bed. I was thrilled.
For the next 3 months, we spent every weekend together. Everything was pretty much as it had been before, except that Sarah insisted that we weren't back together. But it certainly felt as if we were. We made love a lot, and things between us were almost as wonderful as they had been in the beginning.
Then one day, Sarah told me she was getting back together with her ex-partner. She acted as if I shouldn't have any feelings about that, since technically, according to her, we weren't together. Yet she seemed to have some feelings of her own. As she drove cross-country for their reunion, she called me 3 times to say how much she missed me. This fucking bitch, okay?
Crazy. I did my best to let go. I grieved hard, but then a few months later, Sarah called and invited me to meet her at a hot springs resort in New Mexico. Even though my head told me not to go, my heart leapt. And Sarah was pretty clear what her intentions were. Do you think you'll still be attracted to me? She asked, as if there were any doubt.
I bought my ticket and flew to meet her, but by the time she picked me up at the airport, she had changed her mind. She insisted I rent my own room rather than staying with her. Then she spent hours on the phone changing her plane ticket so she could leave the next day.
Rendezvous with Sarah. I answered Leanne's personal ad. Deep down, I knew I wasn't really ready for a new relationship, but I was hurting and lonely.
A personal ad, okay. Leanne looked perfect in a whole different way than Sarah had. She was a Buddhist with a daily meditation practice, and she had done 7 years of therapy. She was a great writer, funny, and loved to hike.
We zoomed straight into Limerence. After our first date, we began writing each other several lengthy emails a day. We went to bed together on our second date a week later and then became an instant couple. It turned out to be the hardest relationship of my life. So basically, these are two examples of two lesbian, women-loving women relationships. And what they both have in common is that they moved very quickly and that there was a lot of limerence. For the first bitch, Sarah, for example, it's like you moved so quick. And then at the first, you were already in love at the first red flag. You're like, I'll stay. Yep. And this person continued to stay through so many red flags. And I think it's like, ultimately, it's like having that limerence where you're building up someone to be someone that they're not, making excuses for someone. And it becomes like very, very toxic. And I do think specifically, like, I know that all couples like have sex and like sleep together after they break up. But I do feel like with women relationships, like when you have sex again, it's like, it's just so powerful. Like, it's just so intense. And I don't even want to use that word anymore after like thinking about limerence, because it's like, but love shouldn't really be that intense. Like, you feel like you're going to die, but you also don't get that euphoria, like you're on drugs feeling without that super low feeling. But I don't know. Again, I just really liked the way that like the voice in this art.
Yeah, it was very like artistic, like creatively written, and I'm like, what the fuck happened with Leanne? Like, I'm at the edge of my seat. I want to fucking know. But I don't know, because I feel like honestly, like this is similar to me. Like, if we were to change the genders to like situations I've gone through with like men as well. So like I'm a little bit like, I don't know. Like, I think I've U-hauled with men, you know? Like, so I don't know if it's just, like, a queer lesbian thing. And, like, I feel like Sarah is kind of a player. And I don't know. People like fucking Sarah. Like, I cannot... I cannot, because I've never been the type of person that it's like, if I like one person, like I cannot, like usually if I stop having sex with an ex or like stop fucking with them, like I can't maintain, like can't go back to them. You know what I'm saying? Like that never has worked for me. So I really like relate to the writer of this stuff, because it's like, you get why she would feel that way, you know? Like, you have this intense love for this person, and this person is, like, fucking you great, and, like, they're doing all these sweet things, and they want to see you, but then they pull away, and then they come back. Like, you know, like, I can understand how that would, like, you would get it confused from, like, limerence to love, because they're kind of, like, fucking playing with you.
Yeah.
You know?
And maybe this is a reach, but I feel like the argument of, like, can you choose to fall in love, or can you not control it? And it's like, you can control your actions. You can control whether you engage with this person. But is it actually like, can you not control like who you're in love with type of thing? And so I really think it's like the scariest part is like choosing to like go down this pattern of like falling in love and giving all your emotions to someone and, you know, all your loyalty and everything before you really get to the like meat of whether or not you're compatible, I think is really dangerous. And I do think like it's hard to wrap your head around, because all the fairy tales that we see, like even with lesbians specifically, it's like they move in together quickly, like they have, you know, they're best friends, they do everything together, and it seems like you would want to fall in love quickly. You would want to just like be in that. But I don't know. I think like falling in love and having an intense love and then like building a relationship that could last like 10, 15 years are like different things now.
Yeah. And I think it's also like that really, and I hate that I don't want to make it a woman coded thing because I think I've seen this happen to men as well. But like, I feel like the whole like concept and idea of like, you know, making yourself literally like love sick over someone, like worrying where they are, what they're doing, like obsessing over them, like not being able to like let go. Like I've definitely been in that situation. And I feel like it's weird because like, again, this is a lesbian situation where like Sarah is kind of creating those boundaries. She's being straight up. She's like changing her mind, like all of that stuff in a horrible way. But like, I feel like we have this stereotype of like women where like they're both gonna be like the author of this, when we think of like the way that Sarah acted as more like male coded or whatever. And I feel like I've realized like the way that I can be in relationships with men and kind of get like that love sick whatever, and like realize that I can like pull it back and manage it or handle it because they're not as like in, like I've never really been like love bombed like crazy, but when it's like mutual on both sides, I feel like that's where you get into like iffy, crazy territory. And unfortunately, like it's a stereotype, but it's true about women. I don't know.
Yeah, because I've also like I've gotten the ick from so many lesbians trying to move quick with me. Right. Honestly. But again, when it's mutual, I'm like, oh, it's great. It's fantastic. Everything's working out in my favor. So that's real. Lastly, on sapphic limerence, the same article said, when you fall into limerence, which many of us call falling in love, it feels like you're high. And there's a good reason for that. You actually are high, stoned on endogenous opiates, your body's own version of heroin. Damn. When scientists do brain scans on people who are newly in love, they find massive quantities of these feel-good chemicals. People of all genders and sexual orientations experience limerence. But in general, two women go into limerence more quickly and deeply than couples of other sexual orientations, and also move more rapidly into commitment. Many lesbians have sex within the first few weeks of meeting and then instantly begin a partnership. We've coached couples who met and moved in together within 3 weeks. The truth is, limerence isn't love, and unfortunately, it doesn't even necessarily lead to love. It can make two women feel intensely drawn to each other even when they're really not well matched at all. In fact, it often makes us skip over the process of even assessing whether we're truly right for each other, or leads us to ignore the signals that tell us we're not. And it's like really reiterating everything we've been saying, but it's just so true. And like emphasis on like ignoring red flag culture and people that are just like, oh, I don't see it, I'm blind. Like I get it. Like I feel the same way, but it's like this all kind of plays into that. And like they said, the truth is limerence isn't love, you know? And it does remind me of lust a lot, but I do feel like lust is more sexually geared. Am I right? Kind of. So, but it's just something to watch out for. And again, it's not something to spiral over like compet. Like we no need to spiral, but it is good for us to just pay more attentions to our intentions and making sure like we're dating for the right reasons and just not going overboard and obsessing over celebrities. And it's hard. Trust me, I do it all the time. But lastly, let's watch this TikTok as well.
An example is you're dating someone, you have a wonderful first date with them. Maybe you don't hear from them for a couple of days, so you're immediately fantasizing about them, picturing your next date, your next week, your next month with this partner, picturing or futuring very far in advance when you really have no basis or foundation of a relationship to even be planning the future in any way. For me, when I'm in a stage of limerence, I also neglect my own needs and I fail to notice people's red flags because I'm like, wow, me and this person had this great connection this one time, like this is my person. In reality, emotional and physical connections take time to build, and obsessing over someone when you're not with them isn't actually forming a connection with another person. So if I feel like I'm in a state of limerence, I often ask myself, what are my intentions within this connection? And how can I give both my partner and myself this space to explore this connection without these intrusive, passionate thoughts about the other person? I try to rein my thoughts in, bring myself back to reality, and base the connection that I'm feeling on the time that we spent together in person.
And just to be clear, this is a lesbian woman talking about it as well. But I feel like the ups and downs part is going to take us into kind of our last section here, just kind of about that intense, like, ups and downs sort of relationships and feelings and all of that.
Yeah, because I feel like for me, again, like, not really with, like, queer relationships because I haven't had any, like, long-term, but, like, with the men that I've been with in, like, situationships, whatever, I feel like it's always, like, this, like, kind of space in between, like, after we first fuck or after we first hang out, where I have this time to, like, project what I want onto them, and, like, especially if they're not necessarily, like, on my dick, because if they are, I don't like them. If they're not, I do, you know? And, like, I think even with the guy that I'm with, like, now, like, to a point, I was the one that was like, oh, like, it's either we're together or we're not. Like, I'm moving way too fucking fast, and I think, like, he tried to, like, slow it down in certain ways, but, like, I was like, no, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like he was doing the, like, healthy thing in a lot of senses, and I was just like, no, duh, like, we're compatible as fuck, like, let's, like, be together, you know? But, like,
and then you get scared when they
and then
say
you get, yeah, exactly, and then you, like, trip. So, like, I feel like it's, the healthy thing is you're supposed to date someone for a couple of months where you're, like, still getting to know them. You're asking those serious questions. Mm-hmm. You're, like, you're figuring out who they are. It's not just, oh, we had good sex. Oh, we had this good date. I'm in love and I want to spend the rest of my life with them. And I feel like, honestly, like, I'm kind of the type of person where it's, like, if things seem really good in the beginning, like, I'm just like, oh, no, like, they're perfect and they're everything I want. Like, even going through those, like, slow steps is, like, it's too much. I don't need to do that, you know?
And that's an effortless segue, Fiji, because we asked you guys, do you tend to put your crushes on a pedestal?
Yes.
And, like, what she just said, be like, they're, everything about them is perfect because they look like Megan Fox from this one angle or whatever the fuck it is. But 82% of y'all said yes and 18% said no. So majority said yes. And in a sense, you know, you should treat your partner like a queen, king, whatever. But at the end of the day, just like with celebrities, it's like just because you really like them, they're still just a person. They still do weird stuff, you know, like they're still just a person. We don't need to. The only pedestal we should be pedestaling is ourselves on top of it.
You say pedestal. That is so, it's of, like, the way you say it. No, I like it. Pedestal, pedestal. But yeah, no, exactly. Like, obviously, like, we're going to put our partners, like, our crushes, like, our love interests on a pedestal because they're, like, above, you know, the other people. But this makes me think of China, rest in peace, CHYNNA, not Black China, but China. She was, like, an emo goth rapper. I was obsessed with her to kind of an unhealthy degree, had a crush on her, tweeted at her, all those. She's actually one of my limerences. Anyway, but she has a song where there's a line and it's put you on a pedestal but kill you if you move it. And, like, that line always fucking hit for me because I'm, like, literally, like, I put everybody that I'm, like, in love with on a pedestal, and, like, I will also get, like, angry and bitchy as fuck if I feel like they do something outside of it, when it's like, that's really just them and who they are. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And
like,
you're
I'm
setting
delusional.
yourself up for disappointment. Like, you're doing that.
Exactly.
You know? Does love feel more intense when there are a lot of ups and downs? And 67% said yes, ... and 33% said no. And girl, like, I just, at this point, I'm so tired. Like, yes, it feels more intense. Of course the fuck it does. But my thing is, like, love and intensity, should they really be so yin and yang as we've been making them be?
They should not. And
they
the people that said no,
cousins.
the people that said no, I'm so fucking jealous of you because I feel like that speaks to your ability to have, like, healthy relationships. Not just men, but, like, I know girls who are with long-term partners who have very healthy relationships that, like, have not had ups and downs. Like, you know, like, they're even. And, you know, I don't know what about your upbringing or whatever. Maybe you're just a very therapyized person. You've gone to a lot of therapy. I don't know how to say that. Where you don't feel that way, but, like, 100% I feel that way. I feel like if it's not that way, like, I'm bored. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need there to be a push and pull, like, attention, like, I love you, I love you not.
I know, but we can't want that anymore.
I know.
We actually can't. And does that make me sad? Yeah, because that shit's fun. Like, it's not, though. I don't know. It's really hard. But let's go to the queen herself for advice, you guys. So Drew Afualo, I'm her biggest fangirl. She was on the podcast 2 days ago. It aired Wild Till 9. No idea about this podcast, but I saw Drew, so I was like, yeah, I'm watching. And this was apparently their 195th episode, but it's called Wild Till 9. The episode's called How to Fight the Patriarchy While Still Dating Men, in quotes, with Drew Afualo. So we're going to watch 2 minutes of Drew just speaking absolute facts, bitch. Get into it.
Why, I guess my question would be like, why do you think love needs to hurt in order for it to be real? Right? Because it doesn't. Like, believe it or not. She was literally like, oh my God. Like, why? It doesn't make it any more real because it's harmful to you. And that's just not what love is. That's not love. That's someone who's obsessed with the attention that you give them. And that's different. And believe it or not, the dumbest, most Neanderthal man in the world can smell when a woman is willing to give them everything but settle for less. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like they can smell that shit like a fucking drug dog. That's why they waste so much goddamn time for so many women, because women, they're like, this woman is willing to act like my wife or my girlfriend but doesn't require me to give her the label. Yeah, get the fuck out of my face. Like, and that's what I'm saying.
Can we go back a few years? I need you to scream that at my eyeballs.
Sometimes I think women think that unless it hurts me or it causes me some sort of like tangible, awful feeling. Yeah. It can't be real because it can't like,
because they're like, love is intense.
Yeah. It's intense and it's passionate and you're right. It is, but it doesn't hurt. Yeah. Right. And so like, that's the difference is like, sometimes I think it's a lot easier to commit to someone that you know is never going to give you what you ask for. Because if you were to venture out and find someone who actually would be willing to give it to you, there's a chance you might lose that person. Mm. But if you lose someone that you knew was not going to pick you regardless, then you could be like, well, I mean, I knew he was awful because I knew that already. You can predict the ending. When you can't, that's a lot scarier.
It's scarier, yeah.
So
it's more
like,
vulnerable.
That's why, yeah, exactly. It requires you to be a lot more vulnerable. It requires you to be a lot more open and honest and like loving because, and that's just a horrifying feeling. So a lot of times we chase shit that we know we'll never get because it's just makes us feel more in control of the situation. When in fact, you're not in control of anything. He's controlling everything. He's puppeteering you. Yeah. And I'd also ask you too, like genuinely really think about it. Like, how does it feel to follow a man around that's never going to pick you? Like he's never, ever going to pick you, girl.
Damn.
And it sucks. It sucks to hear, but it's fucking true. Yeah, and it's like, don't you think you deserve to be with someone who would pick you?
Who chooses you?
Yeah, who would pick you any day, anytime, immediately, first of all.
Okay, so like the first part, I like completely agree, especially when she's talking about like women. Like I was thinking this because I actually had a situation this week with like me and one of my coworkers that I work with is also like a woman, and like we're kind of close. Like we talk about like shit that happens at work, and like there was a particular man that was like pissing us off and like daily like work shit, like sexism, like, you know, typical shit. And we were like venting about it. And then both of us like today actually were like, oh, like he's being nice to us again. And so we're like cool with him. And we were like, oh my God, that's so like us to have like issues with men and then just like immediately forgive them the second they like apologize because like that's just how we're socialized. So like I think it is like a very like how women are socialized thing to put up with bad treatment from men. And then like because you think, oh, they're just so dumb, they just don't get it. And then like when they show that they get it or apologize in any way, you're like, oh, immediately
like you almost
forgiven.
Feel bad. You're like, no, it's fine. Don't even
like
worry
gaslit.
About it.
Yeah, you're gaslit into like accepting like the apology from them, but like
no, I'm sorry.
Right. And I think like the part also about like, oh, you know, it feels like safer, you have this control over it when like you know that they're like not picking you or whatever. Like it makes me think of the attachment styles, and like also I think like I know I have like I know I have avoidant attachment styles, so like I'll pick avoidant people because like I know that like it's this unattainable thing and I'm kind of uncomfortable with the idea of like completely committing to someone. So it feels safe. It feels safe in the sense that like you don't know if it's actually going to happen, so it feels safer. But the thing that like, and I kind of want to save part of it for like next week's episode because like I am going to talk about it. in next week's episode. But it's just like, look, I love Drew. I think she's great. Like, I think she's an awesome person. Like, I do love her content. But, like, I also think we have to think about it, like, from the perspective of, like, she's with a man in a healthy relationship, and that's good. But, like, also when we start to talk about, like, oh, he's never going to pick you, and, like, if he's doing, like, he's puppeteering and all of these things, like, while I think some of those things are, like, really good for women to hear to, like, develop more confidence and be able to leave a person, like, you know, Sarah and the other girl from the story before, like, when they're not choosing you, like, you need to develop confidence to leave. I think it can get, like, dangerous with the language, because I really don't think men are, like, master puppeteers in the way that, like, they have it completely figured out and they want you to play. Like, I just am not completely, like, bought into that idea. Like,
Definitely not all of them. Like, most of them are not, like, smart enough for that and won't take the time and day to, like, really, like, plan this shit. But I think subconsciously, because, you know, we are, like, I don't know. But I agree. I don't think, like, it's not. And maybe it's even more so not than it is true. But I do think, like, subconsciously, like, men will control women. Maybe they're not even intentionally doing it. So it's, like, the difference between someone intentionally having this, like, mastermind plan to, like, control this woman, like, be like, I'm gonna just keep her right here. Because I honestly think, like, with my ex situation, like having someone that will act like your girlfriend but don't need the title, like, that was me. And I do feel like he was gaslighting me and puppeteering me. So that's why I jump at this, because it relates to me. But I think there's a lot of men that do things, like, unintentionally and subconsciously, and, like, women will give into that internalized misogyny just as much as well. So I think it's hard.
And I feel like also, like, within that, like, I feel like we so much want to, like, as women that are hurt and, like, women that have been, like, in that situation with a man that won't commit, like, we so much want to put it into boxes of, like, oh, if he's not the love of my life, then he's obviously a puppeteer and he's obviously manipulating me and whatever. Yeah. But, like, I feel like in knowing men and, like, men I'm friends with, men I've dated, like, whatever, like, I really think men are just as much, again, like, sorry, but, like, victims of the patriarchy in a different way, and like, they're humans too. And I think, like, it's also, like, dehumanizing to us to think that they never loved us in a way. Like, they're complex, fucked up individuals in the same way that we are. And so, like, they just have different issues. So I don't think it's that, like, oh, they were just, like, completely trying to manipulate the fuck out of you and keep you where you wanted to be. Like, even the situation with Sarah again and the other woman, like, I do think, like, in that situation, of course, Sarah had real feelings for the writer, like, real genuine feelings, but, like, she had this whole other situation going on. Like, she had this whole other, like, life, whatever. Like, people are complex people. It's not just because they didn't fit into the boxes that you wanted them to fit in that relationship that they're, like, an evil, manipulative person. I think they're just a fucked up person too.
And I also think, like, to go even further, it's like, in these situations, like, people are going to treat you how you've shown them it's okay to treat you. Yeah. You know? And I think that plays a role into it. Like, yes, I think my ex-boyfriend was wrong for wanting to not really commit to me or be, like, posting about me, or not even posting about me, but just making it known that, like, he loved me to other people and just, like, in general. Like, I let that happen. Like, I actively let that happen. I said, our situation is okay for me. Like, you know? So it's like, how could that really be puppeteering when I'm, like, I'm really letting it happen? Like, I am in control, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, you know, there's a line with that too, because it's like, there, like, manipulation and, like, gaslighting and all of those things are so real. But it's like, and I feel particularly, like, passionate about that because I've been in an abusive relationship, and, like, parts of, like, the relationship you were in, like, were also, like, manipulative and toxic and, like, all of those things. So I don't think we can, like, sit here and, like, make a ton of excuses for that type of behavior, because, like, you're not in your complete rational mind when you, like, love this person and you're, like, making decisions. Like, it's confusing for them to be, like, laying with you every day, being, like, in love with you, and then, like, acting this way. Really but I think hard. It's so much more complex than it's like, this is just an evil person with a mastermind plan. It's just like, this is a fucked up individual that needs to figure out their own shit. And, like, I do too. You know, like I think there's accountability on both sides, and I think it's just like dangerous the way that we talk about it like sometimes. But we're gonna talk about that like a little bit more in like next week's episode.
I agree. And I think Drew would agree with everything.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
I know she would. So. But okay, this is our last section. We are going to give a little bit of advice. You know, we always like to end on a positive note. Like some of this stuff can get kind of like looming, gloomy, whatever.
Okay, so from the same article as before, how do you stop the intense longing? Cultivate self-compassion and a more purposeful life. Dr. Brewer recommends practicing loving kindness meditation. I love a loving kindness meditation, guys. To develop self-compassion and create connections with others who don't require anything in return. Brain scans show doing this meditation deactivates the part of the brain active during longing or worrying, according to Dr. Brewer. Disrupt the fantasy. One of the cognitive behavioral therapy techniques that worked for Mrs. Wyant was listing all the ways she was trying to seek physical or emotional closeness to her LO. That might be daydreaming, re-listening to voicemail messages or playlists, rereading texts, rehearsing messages, or looking at pics. She said to rank what's easiest and hardest to stop and then start with the easiest. Name to tame it. You can deliberately interrupt the habit by calling it out. Quote, hello, Limerence, end quote, and paying attention, for example, through journaling, to what it feels like when you're in that state of longing. Recognizing the feelings of self-denigration, anxiousness, and depression will lead to disenchantment, said Dr. Brewer.
And I feel like when you're in this space of crushing really hard and limerencing, it's so easy to just get lost in the sauce and not look inward and just kind of be in go, go, go mode. I know for me, it's like when I have a crush that's intense or I'm really into someone, maybe I'm even happy about it, the last thing I'm going to do is ask myself, well, is this healthy? Am I interested in getting to know the real them?
Right.
But I honestly think it's on growth when you do. Like, I thought those were great, tangible, advice to do. And I think it all just leads back to looking inward and really just getting to know yourself. Because it sounds so easy, but I realized the other day, like, I don't really know myself that well. Like, sometimes I feel like my people-pleasing tendencies have overshadowed what I actually want. And then I get confused on, like, what my real thoughts are. Yeah. And that's a really scary place to be. So I just feel like it's mindfulness, that's the key.
Yeah, and I think, like, doing the meditations with like you at the center and like focusing on you, because like I love meditation, guys. Like I do it at night, like I do it a lot when I'm stressed, but like I did go down a very weird dark road that I haven't heard people talk about, so I don't know if it's just me and my like weird mental health shit, but like I went down a path of like meditation and because it's disconnecting from like the real and like practicing loving kindness for everybody in your life and like not holding on to things like whatever, where I think it had the opposite effect, like in my toxic abusive relationship where I was like, let go all the time. Like when he does something bad, I'm just letting it go like too much in meditation. So I feel like, I don't know, like I just want to put that disclaimer because I feel like when you're already in like a delusional, weird, out of touch with reality state, like for me personally, sometimes like meditation has also led me down roads where like I've put up with more than I should, similar to the way that I think religion can sometimes, and part of it can be like tied to religion. So like I just want to put that out there. I need to do more research about that because I've never heard anyone talk about it. Yeah. But I know that like I've been in that place. So like balance it and do it for you. Don't be doing the loving kindness meditations or the meditations about letting go because you're like trying to let go about another person's behavior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because it can also, it really clicked at the end. It's like you don't want to feed into that more.
Yes, exactly.
It's like that's dangerous. Yeah, that's so true. And like, do you feel like it's too also, it's like you were in like a headspace so much, it's like you weren't grounded in reality almost, like you wanted to jump to the meditation or like shift astral planes, like basically.
Yeah, I feel like like not to get like dark, guys, but like we would get into like really bad like toxic fights where he was like yelling at me and like I would turn on a meditation and just like completely like zone out, like lay there like when he was not talking to me, and like even when we were like not together, like whatever. So like I feel like I've found meditation as a space of like letting go of my reality, but like that safe space, I would also have to like come out of that place to still live in the environment that I was living in, and I wasn't able to escape it. So I feel like sometimes it was like, it wasn't about, you know, me. I feel like too much of meditation didn't help me actively leave the environment that I was in, but it helped me cope with the environment that I was in better by like detaching, because it's all about emotional detachment and all of those things. But that can only take you so far. Like it can really help you in the moment to come down from like an emotional fucking cliff and like find a safe space. But at the same time, like to a point, meditation for me didn't help me leap off of the scary space I was in, you know?
And it was almost like it could be like a quick fix that in the long term, like just hurt you more. Cause you were too much. And it just goes to show you like self-care, like it's not a one size fits all. Like you have to be in tune with like what actually feels good and is feeding you in a good way rather than triggering you or just, you know, delving deeper into the state that you're already in. So before we wrap up, one more piece of advice from the Medium article. Many people go their entire lives in limerence, married to a fantasy. It won't kill you, but it will prevent you from forming a genuine connection. It may even lead to constant disappointment as your partner repeatedly fails to live up to the version of them that you've created in your head. Letting go of limerence requires an uncomfortable level of introspection. We must first figure out what purpose this limerent relationship is serving, i.e. why we need this fantasy, and then work to strip away any interference and exaggeration from our interactions with this person. Take everything at face value. This can often feel like letting air out of a balloon as we slowly start to become aware of the other person's humanity. You may even come to the depressing realization that you are incapable of loving this person without the fantasy. You start to realize that the connection you felt was actually just validation of your attachment wounds. That's okay. Genuine love is far rarer than society leads you to believe. No, for real though.
Yeah.
Most couples aren't in love. They are just in love with the idea of love. Any emotional connection is usually self-serving. I'm not moralizing this, but rather presenting an alternative perspective. I'll leave it up to you to decide if you want to love someone or the idea of them. Both have their drawbacks.
Okay, wait. I have
maybe that wasn't as positive as maybe we should have ended on, but yes.
Because I thought about this when it was the Drew interview and I forgot to say it, but like this kind of brings me back to it. And I don't know if I'm like fucked up or cynical or if like, because you know who Esther Perel is? No, she's like a relationship therapist. She's like one of like the great like thought leaders in like couples therapy. Like look her up. She has a podcast. She has a book, like all these things. But she talks about like, you know, one of the things I love the most about her is how she talks about how love, like not just love, but like relationships can be hard. And like we like to just like have this idea of this like fantasy where like shit is not hard when like in reality it is, because you have to confront your own trauma and their trauma and like we'll learn how to like work together. So I guess like I don't know, like the part where Drew was talking about like this idea of this like love that won't be difficult, and also this saying like genuine love is far rarer than society makes you believe. Like most couples aren't in love, they're just in love with the idea of love. Like, you know,
she
like
didn't say love won't be difficult. That's not what she said. She said love shouldn't hurt the way some of us think that it should, because if it's not killing you, it's like, you know, and I relate to that.
Yeah, and I guess there's a lot, because I think in all love, it does hurt to a point, though, when it's difficult, doesn't it? And I feel like
I get it,
it's finding that balance. Like, it's definitely like there's a balance in between. But it's like when you think about even relationships
if you love
with, like,
someone, so they do
friends,
something, it's going to
family.
hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
but it
like,
shouldn't hurt constantly. There should be less hurt than happiness.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Agreed. Right. Okay.
I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm on like a different whatever. But yeah, I think it's definitely like, you know, coming back to reality is super helpful.
No, but like, I think it's good. Like I really do look at Drew, like everything she says is right. And like I do feel like it's good to like have like to critique things, you know.
Yeah.
I do think it's good, and I think it's okay to have different opinions too.
Yeah.
But I will just go on record and say that like everything she said like was right. So
okay, and you can think that, but like also I'm coming at it from, I'm not as, fangirl as you, but like I still do love her. Autumn gets mad when I critique her, but like it's no hate to her. Like I think she's like a dope individual. It's just like I think it's also because of some of the content that I consume. Like I'm like hyper conscious of like certain things, and I'm like triggered by certain
language. Because it's kind of a different world that she's in. It's not giving Khadijah.
It's not,
and we want to give Khadijah,
right?
But we do though. That's not a lie.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna wrap up the episode how we always do, talking about what we're wet, dry, and still a little bit confused about the topic. So I'll go first. I will say I'm definitely low-key still wet about a delusional limerent crush. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it gives you a little, like, purpose to live, a little brighter light in your day. Like, it can be fun.
Yeah.
It can be cute. You know, I'll wait on the dry side. But, like, I do think, like, crushes are fun. Like, you know, it's something to look forward to. It's cute. It's fun. It's happy. Other than that, I would say a lot of the stuff is pretty fucking dry. But, like, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm wet about growth and learning. I feel like that's always what I fucking say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just pass it off to you.
Yeah, what about the same thing? Like, I love a crush, like, especially the Billie Eilish thing I got going on right now. Like, you guys. Like, I love to limerence, like, over people that are not attainable. And I'm never going to meet them. And I'm never going to know them. And it's totally fine. But, like, it's just fun. And I really have such a creative, powerful, imaginative mind. And I work her and I train her and I do full scenes in my head, like constantly. It's like a big part of my day. And I don't know, I guess I'm just wet on also, it's like we really are on a journey of like knowing what we actually deserve, which is, you know, really nice. And I feel grateful that I've had 4 significant relationships. Like I do feel like I have experience in dating. I feel like I've dated so many different types of people. Like I feel like
you definitely have.
I feel like I'm just like ready for like not ready for a relationship, but I'm ready to like eventually like have someone like treat me right for real. You know, like I really do feel myself like a slow fade away from like the bad boy in terms of like, you know, I'll fuck them, but like not date them. Yeah. But a bad girl, I'll let her break my heart. Like I still haven't gotten over that. So yeah.
Yeah, in terms of dry, I think I'm definitely dry about like the ways that limerence can like take over your life and become this obsession where you're not eating, drinking, sleeping, like you know,
Jesus
can't
Christ.
work. Like that is intense and that is insane. And like any sort of mental health shit, you know, it's real and people need to seek help. So like that is really fucking dry. I'm
giving
dry.
Joe from you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm dry about the ways that we, like, project onto other people, even with these crushes, because, like, crushes, limerent objects, like, they can be fun, they can be cute, like, whatever, but, like, it is dehumanizing to the other person in a way, and I think we're, like...
Can we talk about
we're
that?
not always conscious of it. Like, we're just, we're having fun, we're being cute over here, whatever. Like, meanwhile, like, this is a human being that we are, like, OD projecting onto and, like, doing, like, crazy shit with. So, like, dry about that
for
stuff.
anyone.
And also dry about, like, you know, the journey it takes to get in touch with reality, because it's not fun. Like, it's fun to be delusional and cute, but those, like, ups and downs or those moments where you have to, like, ground yourself back into reality, like, that is dry as fuck. Like, my pussy is wet for the delusion, but dry as fuck for coming back to reality. And, like, we have to do it, but it's not fun, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, the thing that's the most dry for me is really just the idea of like being with someone that you know eventually, that you know won't ever fully give you what you want or fully commit to you. So it's easier, like first girlfriend, poly, second girlfriend, lived across the country.
Yep.
Third boyfriend, again, didn't want to just commit, and then fourth girl, you know what I mean? Like it's always something where it just does feel easier. Like I'm like, I've never had something where I felt like everything totally aligned, you know, to like really build something substantial. Maybe I did at the time, otherwise I wouldn't have been dating them. But like looking back,
Yeah.
So it's hard, and I do feel like it's a pro and a con to like knowing about this shit and the compet, because it does kind of make you spiral a little bit. Have I ever loved anyone? Like, am I even capable of love? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
what is
and that's
real
not
love?
what it's meant to do. I think it is meant to teach us about like meaningful, genuine connections, which I genuinely do want. Like, I'm trying to go on Love is Blind for real. Like, I want to have that.
She's trying to go on Love is Blind. Oh my God.
Just because, like, I don't know.
I
like,
low-key, like, out of all the reality shows, that's the one I would want to go on to.
Right.
Does that just speak to our, like, a bit, like, because
I would go on The Bachelor, too.
But I feel like with Love is Blind, it's perfect for, like, the Limerence shit, because you are projecting what you think they look like and
that's
all of those
why
things.
it would be, honestly.
It would be perfect.
It would be a learning experience for me, for sure.
It definitely would. As far as confused, I think definitely the lines between what is fun and what is okay to be like cute, fun, delusional versus what is unhealthy and what is bad. Like, those lines are confusing. And even just what the fuck love is. Like, it's such a simple question, but
what
such
the
a
fuck
deep
love is, bro.
It's such a deep,
Please.
you know, the ups and downs, like that shit. Like, you can send yourself into a mental fucking spiral about that shit. And sometimes, like,
And
lately I found myself on the vibe of like trying to, because I think I'm someone that like overly thinks about things like a lot, like can send myself into like a therapy whatever spiral, trying to find the source of where the thought comes from, and just end up even more in a rabbit hole.
Fiji's
and sometimes
your own
like
worst enemy for real.
Yeah, like I think like accepting things at face value and just like accepting them. Like, you have a crush and it's cool, and maybe you don't need to spiral about how this is limerence and it's ruining your life. Like, you know, like sometimes like that is okay. And I think that's something I need to learn how to do more with everything in my life. So like I'm confused about that, you know, because like there's a difference between like therapizing everything versus like engaging in like, okay, we're human, like shit happens.
You're right. Like, it's so, like intellectually talking about limerence, like da da da. But when you're in everyday life experiencing crushes and love, I mean, fuck, no, nothing is ever the same, and nothing's ever gonna be perfect. You know, I think arguably you like limerence is maybe a part of love. It could lead you to love sometimes. Maybe that's how it starts for a lot of people. It's like, I don't think limerence is like, let's cancel that shit like forever. Like, I do think it's a part of life, as a lot of the articles said. Like, it's normal to go, you know, a little crazy when you really like someone, because those like, in like, you know, brain scans they did, like, it's all real. So it is a little bit confusing, but I don't think it's like anti-limerence. Like, I feel like, I know we said there's a lot dry about this episode, but it is, you know, something to just keep in mind. We don't need to spiral though, but I do think specifically the lesbian parts about, and just any relationship, falling in love before you know if you're truly compatible is a big no, guys. We can't do that anymore, because it's hard to leave them. You know you're incompatible. It's heartbreaking. I mean, just fucking ask them questions, you know? Get to know them. But I was too busy. I already thought I did know them, because I was projecting on what exactly I wanted them to be. And then you're shocked to find out information because you convinced your brain, like, nah, this is how it is.
And it's also like, hindsight is 20/20. You know, like, us today is a whole different version of us 2 years ago, a month ago, last week, when we were like fantasizing in this relationship, whatever. So like, be kind to yourself, you know, because I really feel like that is what I'm trying to practice right now, because like, you know, shit is not black and white, and we can read. I feel like this contradicts like almost all of our episodes in a certain way, but I'm stuck on this idea of like, we can like read all the relationship advice, all the stories, all the Reddit posts, all the TikToks in the world, but like, you have to be able to discern shit in your own life and not apply everything, or just like latch on to certain ideas and like make yourself feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying? So like, that whole thing, I hope this episode, like, I hope it like, I don't want anyone listening to this to like go into a spiral of like, oh my God, like I'm limerencing, I need to seek therapy. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe that is the route for you. I don't know. But also, like, you know, like, do some self-work, think it through, like, yourself. I don't know.
Yeah, just trust yourself. This is also case by case. You know what I mean? And, like, someone overthinking this and spiraling someone overthinking this and spiraling about it could be more damaging to their mental health, you know? So it's like, just take it and leave it, and just don't take it that serious. Like, that's what I do. I'm like, all right, like, but I do feel like smarter, and like, I will think about this more, you know?
Exactly.
Maybe not perfectly, but that's the part on being human. Yeah. And talk to your friends about and shit. But that about does it for this episode, guys. Please let us know what you thought in the comments below on YouTube, and Spotify has comments now as well. If you're on YouTube, please give this video a like and make sure you are subscribed to our channel. We're almost at 1,000 and we're so excited. So please help us get there. Like, literally any person subscribing means so much to us. And then for Spotify, if you're listening, make sure you follow us and rate us. And even if you're not listening on Spotify, you can just search So Wet, So Dry. The O's are zeros on Spotify. Follow us and give us a star rating. It would mean so much to us. And lastly, remember that we do post polls and give an opportunity to submit a story or a question for every single episode that we do. And the only way to be a part of it is to follow our Instagram and, you know, watch our stories once a week and submit.
Yes, and we do also have listener support. It is the only way that you guys can financially support us and the content that we are trying to create and the community that we are trying to create. We do have listener support through Spotify. Even if you guys are not listening on Spotify, it is at the bottom of the description of every single episode. It is listener support. We have $4.99, $9.99, or 99 cents a month, I think. Yes, I'm correct.
You said it in a weird order, but
I said it in a different order, but that is what it is. We also do want to highlight creators, artists. You know, if you have a business, a small business that you're trying to promote, we will do a short 2-minute segment just with some photos of you talking about the products that you offer, the services, your art, your music, whatever. We'd love to do that. So shoot us a DM or email us sowetsodry@gmail.com. The O's are zeros. And we love you so fucking much. We will catch you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Do girls prefer having or doing sexual stuff in the dark?
I prefer dark.
I prefer like all girls prefer that.
Pitch black.
No.
But pretty dark though.
Like one bathroom light on.
Dude, I like it kind of bright, bro. I want to see you, man. There's a reason I'm trying to like
really like
you,
top of the morning type shit.
Oh, I love that.
Genuinely.
I'm trying to see you because I fuck with you. You know what I'm saying?
From my perspective, like from a girl's, it's more of like girls' body dysmorphia thing.
Like a little insecure type.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel that.
Guys are so much more confident with their bodies.
Like they look have to though.
Why?
Think about it. If a guy's like not confident in his body, right?
I think it's
just
more
weird.
like the guy doesn't care.
Yeah, and we also don't care what you look like too. Like
True.
if you didn't shave your legs, like dude, we're not gonna notice that.
Yeah.
Also, like I like getting ready. Like,
really?
I
think that's why they made that term appointment. It really is an appointment for you guys.
It is an
appointment. Like you guys have a lot of stuff to do and get ready beforehand.
That's
you know,
so
it's a whole event.
That's so true.